In the bitter chill of November 2018, the remote stretch of Pine Hollow Forest just outside the forgotten town of Dunsmuir, Montana, whispered with old legends and unseen terrors. Locals knew better than to step into those woods alone, especially after sunset. They said something lived out there. Not an animal, not a man. Something older, something that watched. But Tyler Granger, a 26-year-old freelance photographer from Seattle, didn't believe in legends. He came for the silence, the beauty, and the thrill of a solo camping trip. What he found instead was a nightmare he'd spend the rest of his life trying to outrun. Tyler parked his Jeep Wrangler off an old Forest Service road and hiked 3 miles into the thick of Pine Hollow, where the trees grew so close together the sun barely touched the ground. He set up camp in a clearing beneath towering pine giants, the air silent as if nature itself was holding its breath. At the diner earlier that day, a weathered old man, retired forest ranger Henry Jessup, had grabbed his wrist. "Don't go past the ridge," he whispered. "It's not just cold out there, it feels you." Tyler had chuckled politely and shrugged it off. That was before the whispers started. By nightfall, the temperature had dropped 20 degrees. Tyler zipped up his coat and set up his tripod, snapping eerie long exposure shots of the trees. Above, one star glowed a strange red, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. The wind had died entirely, yet he swore he heard faint movement in the woods. Footsteps, slow and dragging. That's when he saw it. A fire, already burning, but he hadn't lit anything yet. Tyler froze. His breath steamed in the air. A single flame flickered at the center of the clearing, its light throwing long shadows across the trees. "Hello?" he called out. Nothing. He edged closer, hand on his flashlight, the beam flickering and weak. The fire crackled gently, but no one was there. Still, he felt watched, like someone or something stood just outside the light's reach, breathing with him. He backed away, heart pounding. When he turned around, a folding chair was already set up beside his tent, identical to his own, but he'd brought only one. He counted again. 1, 2, no. He dropped his camera. Panic clawed at his spine. Something was wrong, unnaturally wrong. Trying to focus, Tyler grabbed one of the 5 soda cans he'd packed, popped the tab, and took a shaky sip. When he looked down, there were 6 cans in front of the fire, all lined up, all cold. He backed away slowly, every instinct screaming run, but it wasn't that easy. He turned toward the tent and stopped cold. Another sleeping bag rolled out, right next to his. Tyler hadn't brought a second one. His chest tightened. He scrambled for his pack, pulling it open, and found something he'd never seen before. An old, leather-bound book. It wasn't his. Its pages smelled of ash and mold. Inside was a crude drawing of a tall figure with glowing red eyes, surrounded by 6 cans and 6 chairs. Beneath the drawing was a scrawled warning, etched in something dark. "It joins you until you see it." The fire flared behind him. The whispers turned to chanting, a low, guttural rhythm pulsing through the air like some ancient heartbeat. Then something touched his neck. Not a hand, not fingers. A breath, freezing, wet, close. Tyler screamed and bolted into the tent. The zipper pulled shut behind him on its own. The entire forest seemed to hold its breath, and then the chanting stopped. For a moment, silence. Then, zip. The tent zipper began to open. Slow, deliberate. He didn't wait. He grabbed the tiny vial of holy water Henry Jessup had insisted he take, just in case. And a prayer card from his wallet, held onto since childhood. His hands trembled as he poured the water in a circle, muttering every prayer he could remember. The tent exploded with wind and heat. The fire outside roared, and from the shadows it emerged. A towering skeletal thing with stretched grey skin. No mouth, no nose, just eyes. Burning, red eyes that bled light. It didn't walk, it glided, claws outstretched, reaching for him. The chanting returned, louder, piercing. But Tyler kept chanting his own words, louder and louder until the holy water hissed like acid and the thing screamed. A sound like every tree in the forest cracking at once. The creature burst into smoke, its scream fading with the wind. Tyler ran. He didn't grab his gear, didn't pack up. He ran until the trees thinned, until he hit the service road, until he could see his Jeep under the bleeding sky of dawn. He drove without looking back. At a gas station near Billings, hands shaking, he told a sheriff's deputy everything. The second chair, the cans, the fire, the thing. They took a report. Didn't even go to the site. He went home and posted his story to a horror blog, titling it The Thing in the Pines. Most people called it fiction, but Tyler knows the truth. Because some nights, even now, he wakes to the smell of smoke and pine needles, finds 6 soda cans in his kitchen, 2 chairs set up in his living room, and sometimes, just sometimes, a red glow pulses in the corner of his room. The whisper follows, "You saw me. Now I stay." And in those moments, Tyler knows. Some things, even when banished, never really leave. Still watching, but not subscribed? A lot of effort goes into making these videos. When you subscribe and share, it keeps me motivated to create more. So please, make sure to subscribe.